All right, can everybody see my screen? Don, can you see
Yes,
my
I can
screen?
see it. Check.
Okay, very good. Okay, I'm going to be talking about a couple of things in for tool control in 4 and 5 axis. So the first thing I'm going to be talking about is how do we control tool motions in 4 axis when we're going from one operation to another, or rather one setup to another. This is something that users can get caught up on because let me give you an example that might be a little bit more illustrative of what I'm talking about. So I have a part here that's got these pockets, and then it's got these lugs sitting up there. So what I've done here is I've created two operations, two setups actually. I'm using index machining, index 4-axis machining to machine this part. I've defined my machine as a 4-axis machine, and the rotary axis is about the x-axis. And the first setup, I've selected the bottom face here and done a simple 2.5-axis pocketing operation. And then I've created another setup. You can see the setup coordinate, setup z-axis is pointing up this way. And the other setup is basically a rotation setup, 90-degree counterclockwise rotation, which basically machines this part, allows me to machine that pocket. So I've done the machining of these two pockets. Okay, the problem that we encounter, some of our customers encounter is, if there's a part like this, and then you want to transition from this tool path, as you can see there, this is my Z height of the tool path. And then if I go over to this tool path over there, so the tool is going to retract up here. And let me bring up the toolpath editor as Don was doing. So let's go down. So if you go, let me go up to the Z height. Yeah, that's where the tool is going to end up once it's machined. That's the Z height. Now, and if you do a rotate table command right now, the table is going to rotate and the tool is sitting there and it's going to collide with this lug. So what do we do? This is a common question that people ask.
Muted.
Well, give me 1 second. Yeah, so one of the ways that we can solve this problem is using the tool change point. In the machine tool, we have a definition of a tool change point. You can define a tool change point. Actually, I've done this here, so let me make that 0. I want to show you this first without the tool change point. Regenerate all. That's in the machine tool, you can define a tool change point. So basically, you can think of this machine tool as a manual tool changer with a manual tool changer, and you want the tool to go to that point where a safe point somewhere where you can actually do the manual tool change. So that's what this is used for. But we could use this point and tell the system to traverse to that point after each setup. So once the setup is done, we can tell the system to go to that point. That way, the tool will clear that any of these lugs or any of the bosses sticking out like that, and it's not going to collide with that. So let me show you. So right now, if I do a post all, let me do a post. I'm posting all the operations. So this is my first rotate table, which is A0. I'm rotating the table by 0 degrees, which is basically not rotating at all. And this is my second rotate table. As you can see, the tool is sitting at 0.53, and that will definitely hit this boss here when it rotates. So how do I fix this? Okay, the first thing, there are two things we need to do to fix this. So let's go into the tool change, the machine tool setup. I'm going to define a tool change point. I'm going to keep that 0, 0, X and Y, but I'm going to give it a Z coordinate of 1.5. That'd be good enough to clear that boss. And then I'm going to say, okay, that's my machine definition. And then I got to do one more thing. I got to go to my 4-axis options. And there's an option in here saying always retract tool change point before each table rotate operation. So I need to check that. So it was already checked, but we got to make sure I check that. So if you're checking that, what will happen is when you regenerate or generate the operation or the setup operations, you'll always get a retract up to that point. And you also have to, one other caveat to this, you also have to have something specified in the tool change point. If it is set to 000, it's not going to do anything. So that way, you're protected from actually going down to the table and hitting it. So that's another reason we set it that way. So there are two safety things built in. So now that I've set that up, so I go back to the options, set the always retract, and then I make sure in my machine tool, I have a tool change point defined. Now, if I go to my machining job and regenerate all, now let me do a post all. If I post this, let's go back again on the first rotate table, nothing. That's good. And then the second rotate table, just before that, as you can see, the tool is retracted up to Z1.5, and then it went to 0, 0. So the 0, 0, 1.5 is my tool change point. So we're basically, the system automatically does this if you have those two things defined. And that way you can be assured that you're not going to run into anything like that along the way when the table is rotating. I hope that makes sense. Do you have any questions on that? Please fire away, and then I can answer those. Okay, so this is in 4-axis. So if you have a 4-axis configuration, expert configuration, this is a good way to do it. But there's even a better way. One of the things we don't do in our CAM system is simulation between operations, right? I mean, we only simulate each operation, and that's it. We do not simulate motions between operations because we don't know what the machine is going to be doing. So this is one way of controlling it. We also have 5-axis users using indexed operations that have the same problem. This is even more of a problem in 5-axis. So let me show you an example here.